Hello YouTube and welcome to episode 6 of my Kubikiri cycle reaction series. Back here again for another episode, kind of in the wake of a longer Monogatari one again, which seems to be a bit of a trend. If you didn't hear yesterday, I know there's a lot of crossover between this and Monogatari, but there's only the one today. And then next week we'll do something different. We're going to finish Hana Monogatari, so that'll just be the one episode, episode 5 for Monogatari, thus giving me the time to hopefully dig into episodes 7 and 8 of Kubikiri Cycle, 8 of which is a double episode, I think, or at least it's a little bit longer. So, yeah, kind of planning around that. There's going to be a big finale spectacular next week, and we're just going to have to kind of get what we get this week to make up for it, if that makes any sense. Only the one YouTube comment from last week from Hot Wheels Kid sends out a POG alert, which I do enjoy, a good old POG alert. And kind of clarifying the whole sleeping with Kunagisa thing. This is specifically the most important part. IMO implied that he slept with her with the deliberate goal of hurting her. So clue this into a lot of what I've been saying about the main character, and a lot of it starts to make sense, right? So why would sleeping with her, did he mean to break her heart? Did he mean to do something else? I don't know. We're going to have to follow. I'm sure there's some larger reveals around the main character around the corner. He seemingly is the kind of the bomb waiting to explode in the plot IMO. I don't know if you guys can hear the washing machine. It's kind of gone crazy in the background, so hopefully it isn't detrimental. It should be off soon anyway. I digress. I'm gonna do my little recap of last week's events. We got up to day 5 and there was another killing, of course. As we want to do in Kubikiri cycle, there is a cycle of killings, I believe. That's what I'm trying to establish. Either way, it's Akane that's dead. Akari is the one screaming that it happened. There's some sort of indicators in her dialogue that's a little bit more broad than maybe I think it's intended in the scene. Like she's talking about something else. She specifically is screaming at the main character. So again, watching for it. Everyone gathers around and looks at the crime scene before heading to the dining room, very similar to the first case there with Kanami. Everyone establishes pretty good alibis, again, pretty good alibis, outside of 3 people being Hikari, Yayoi, and the main character. There was a little diagram within the show showing who's, like, has alibis and who doesn't have alibis, and I think that I maybe should make something similar, but again, I'm pretty sure the main character just did it, but we're going to get into it. The main character defends Hikari, who is the most suspicious on account of her having the keys to the room where Akane is staying, and suggests the formation of teams as to keep an eye on each other and make sure there's no more killings. We're not going to isolate one person who we think is the biggest suspect, like last time. We're going to team up into groups of 3, hopefully with the goal of not allowing like one other person will keep another one in check. You know what I mean? We're not just pairing people off. It's the same principles behind what Maki was saying to the main character around, leaving somebody with someone else and not leaving them alone because that makes them the target for a killing. Interesting groupings here. We have Hikari, Kunagisa, and the main character. That's kind of who we go into for the rest of the episode. This is the sus team. This is the team that I think know more than they're letting on. And this is just like the rest. Yayoi's weird too, but again, we've been through that. Team 1 then goes back to Kunagisa's room to see that her computer has been destroyed, and I have some feelings around this. I don't really know what's going on here, but it seems to have opened up some possibilities for the main character. He's thinking it through at least, right? And that's pretty telling. Seemingly impossible based on when and where people are. Keeping an eye on it, for sure. Then Team 1 buries Akane, very similar to how they did Kanami, right? And establishes some kind of friendship between them. But again, there's this whole idea of like friendship is fleeting and how long will this time in this island last and all these kind of other themes that they're talking about. Team 1 then has a quick look at the crime scene and establishes a few things about how the locked door works and how the window works and such. And this kind of stumped me. I don't really know what to make of this thus far. Not many ideas. Last episode there wasn't a big kind of Akane-esque monologue at anything, so hopefully maybe we'll get something like this episode and I can sink my teeth in a little bit more. Honda Ray is being sus. I've said it basically every episode now, so I'm going to keep on it. Ilya is sus, but I think Ilya is sus for overall implications of what the island is and everything else and why there's a cycle and what the previous cases are and that kind of thing. Yayoi clearly knows some shit. That's probably who we're going to talk to this episode now that I'm thinking about it, right? And then maybe kill off Yayoi. Maybe. I don't know. Like that's just a pure like cycle-esque prediction. Yeah, the interesting part about how they set up the room with the window and everything, Akane needs to let this person in. Like you know what I mean? Or it's some weird key shenanigan, but I don't think it would be. So it need to be somebody that Akane at least trusts, or she's dumb and lets the killer in and kill her and then escape. The painting is still sus with the thing. Maybe that's why we destroyed the computer. The watch on the painting of the photo of the man with the thing in the room and the you know the Kunigisa stairs thing, right, as well. Strange. And then of course the murder weapon is still very much a big question mark for me personally. Maybe we'll start discussing that of both cases this episode. Maybe I think it's a big missing piece of the puzzle here. So yeah, all in all, before jumping into the next episode, like the main character, I think is the one to watch here. Nobody else really has that level of like okay in a story. Like okay, taking the Danganronpa example even again, right? I know I'm doing it a lot. You'll get a thing in Danganronpa, and it kind of made some of the other games a little bit predictable. Characters will get a lot of development or a lot of screen time or a lot of you know they will be a central element to the plot just before something happens to them. Either they die or they did it, right? Uh, none of the characters outside of a few are getting much screen time at all. Like Hikari's getting a little bit. Ilya, but I've said my thoughts on Ilya. Like the main character and Kunigisa seemingly are the only ones that are really having a good chat. Like Maki seems like a demented third party. So I don't know about that. But like you know what I mean? Like if somebody else did it, there would be evidence pointing to them doing it unless they're doing a really good job of hiding it. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm just ready to jump into the next episode and find out what else to talk about because I'm kind of, you know, in the middle of like a case right now. I need to find out the rest before I have concrete opinions on Akane's death and that kind of thing. Just my show stuff before I jump into episode 6 here. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, Discord. And yeah, jumping into episode 6 of the Kubikiri cycle right now. Rightio, get episode 6 of the Kubikiri cycle up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. 29 minutes and 25 seconds, so almost that full half an hour here today. Using, I forget the name of the subs, but there's some subs. I don't know, they're doing the job, I think. And yeah, picture in picture in the description below. Just going to jump in right now. Right here. 3, 2, 1, go. 3D render of room. Sure. Indeed. Are we going to get a quote again? You'd think so, right? Oh. Both cases are linked? Don't you have anything better to do? Her hair's very clean. Oh, it's stairs time. Oh, a bit of a showdown. You were carrying a knife around, huh? Sure. You two are cute. Leave this to Ichan. The stairs thing. I thought somebody needed to lead her up. But maybe she just needs to go up in tandem. And then into the opening. Okay. Interesting. Are we going to get a long conversation with Ilya? Is it going to be a private conversation with Ilya where we're going to maybe reveal some things about overall stuff? Is he going to kind of grill her on some of the sus things she's doing? I hope so. Oh yeah, rip the computer, by the way. Bro, I love anime openings. They're so cool. I should watch more different openings on the channel. I mean, I need to watch the shows first. You know what I mean? Like, you can't chicken before egg it. Alright, what's that day? Day 2 lies. Uso. Okay. Oh no, she's got the whole crew here. Oh yeah, of course they're working in teams. It can't be a private conversation. All the maids look so sinister. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I'm here to kill you. Handing her a knife too, right? Oh yeah, the huge element of trust there with Hikari, right? That went completely over my head. Ooh, that paw. Your plan. Whatever you say, anime boy. No, I think she's pretty safe. I'm gonna be real. Yeah. What was that sync on the audio too? That was weird. Just me with the boys. Mhm. No, doesn't bother you. Yeah, I do. Wait, no, we talked about that, right? If murder resulted in the world being saved, then I'm happy with it, I think. Uh, it's inherently selfish. Okay. Hmm. Oh my god. Whatever you say. I don't trust you as far as I can throw you. But okay. I thought it'd be like tomorrow faster than expected. Yeah, I thought this too. Okay, sure. What is this room? This creepy art room. Okay. What'd you say? I agree. What do you mean try? You don't get another go. She moving around like she has lives. Oh. Where the frick are we? What is happening? Oh. What is happening? He's very calm. What? 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 Sure. Ah. Okay. Okay. Ha ha ha. Well, I mean, I suspected that as well. Why was she exiled from family? I'm her stairs person. What? What? Like self harm? Who the fuck is Odette? Yeah, okay. I got that part, I think. Okay. Okay. Because she's already running away from the police. I think he will. Bye. I can't, no. Who are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, she can. So she sees you for what you are. Oh, that's been a lot of my theory as well. Choose. Okay, I'm just very confused overall. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Which was about Ilya, right? Yeah, she tried to get away with like a bunch of lies each time. Like I am? Don't ever think we're alike? Sure. Sure. I am seeking clarity. Hello, hello, Team C. The rest. Is it that funny? Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, she did. How's Yayoi doing? Good luck with all that thinking. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now spill the beans. What are you doing? What's your deal? Talk to me. Not at all. Okay, cool. Good talk. All right, you didn't murder her. That's good. Yeah, you can salvage some stuff probably, right? Maybe a hard drive. Sure. Thanks, Hibiki. Oh my god. A secret weapon? Whatever you say. Like a detective? Dab. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got that part. Yeah, true. I thought that was bad evidence you didn't want anybody to know. Maybe I'm wrong. Nah, she does it with like a photographic memory thing. You're very nice. Okay, we're working some stuff out. Past quake. Murder. Cake. Ah, okay, I'll need to pause all this. Yeah, okay, so this is like the thing we saw before with the alibis. Yeah, the murder of the computer. What do you mean not as dramatic? Exactly, the computer's important. This is your truest computer user. Yes, okay. The time is the locked room. Yeah, kind of. I liked the hands too. It was very dramatic. So how did it happen? That's the impression I got too. He looks like Araragi there. Well, she's a smart lady, or was a smart lady. Does she not do that? She did. What was it implying? What about Ilya? Choose. Okay. Since we got to this island, things have happened. Yeah. Other murders, probably. Yeah, tell me about it. No, that definitely happened. Oh, it's like an unsaid secret. I see. Rich and powerful family. Well, Chikun ain't here no more. Okay, sure. That came out of nowhere. Yeah. Oh! Mmm. Yeah, but now the whole locked room part, right? Mmm. Exactly. Well, I mean, I've always been sus of her. Oh! Why? I think it is. Food's yummy. Oh, yeah. Eat that brain. What you been cooking? She's fucking losing it. She'd never eat brains? I don't think so. Oh, you're kind of losing it though. What do you mean? Another brain to eat? I don't know. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, the color change. Nice. What do you mean? I missed it too. What? Why? I don't get it. Take me along with you, please. I don't. Sure. Tell me. I don't know. I feel dumb. He's popping off. I agree. I'm with her. What even is one thing? Tell me. Oh shit. Ah, okay. Sure. Ah, how? How? I feel stupid and dumb. Well, clearly my theory about uh the main character being the killer is probably incorrect, right? And this is going to turn into more of a like it's time to just turn on Ilya. And Honda Ray being sus was true. Should we take everything said in this episode on face value? It is called lies. Interesting one. Is that it? Yeah, it is seemingly weird. It kind of flew by too. The episode. I don't really know if I have much to say about it. A lot of that conversation with Teriko is going to be like, well, that's a lie. That's a lie. Okay, that's a nugget of truth. That's a lie. You know. Using my Danganronpa analogies, it's like we've gone all the way past 1 and 2 and we're up to V3. That's what it feels like in complexity right now. And I feel like I've been paying pretty good attention too. I don't know. Yeah, jumping into a little bit of analysis on that episode, I think. Radio, so we're back, and we're back in the Google Doc here, and I'm just trying to make heads and tails of everything. Of course, I'm going to go back through the episode and see if I can pick up apparently what these characters are talking about towards the end. I'm feeling a little bit stupid, but I think that's natural in a mystery story. Before everything is revealed, it's the sign of a good mystery that I haven't figured it all out yet. That's good. It's just a little bit frustrating me only watching one this week, but it is what it is. Let's jump in here. Team 1 splits up with Kunagisa and Hikari going back upstairs, kind of leading her back upstairs, gives her a knife as well, which is an ultimate sign of trust, I thought. And the main character goes to confront Ilya about a few things. So the main character and Ilya have a conversation about why don't we contact the police? This is getting a little bit out of hand, blah, 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 blah. Then go into the ethics of murder, kind of an extension of that discussion we had with Akane, I think, from memory. Like, when is it okay to murder, essentially? And then Terako accompanies the main character back to his room, but then things go south. And she kind of flips weirdly, but is also lying a bunch, and they have a long and private conversation involving a lot of lies and some foreshadowing about the main character's true personality. But frankly, I think I just need to read it properly again and figure out what was lie and what is truth, because a lot of what she was saying was ridiculous, and then she's like, "Yes, it is a lie. Yes, it is a lie." It's like, just say what you mean. Anyway, I know they can't do that. It's like the point. We learned some stuff about Ilya's past and why she doesn't want to involve the police. This is like she killed her sister, and also there should be self-harm scars on her wrist or something as well, which is random. And we didn't see those when she got naked, so I don't know. But the sister murder stuff just came out of nowhere. We didn't even know the sister existed. She would have needed to be exiled from her family for some specific reason. This tracks with that. The maids are aware. Hikari clarifies this, or at least confirms it, I think, right? Like, she's like, yeah, that is what happened. Yep, true. Unfortunately, we still serve her regardless, but, you know, having two people say the same thing should mean it's true. So we're going to need to tackle that for sure. So we finish that conversation, we leave. There's some stuff about the main character's true nature as well. which I think I mentioned already. But anyway, like we talk with Maki and Shinya just briefly. Maki just laughs at the main character, clearly knows what's going on, even if I don't. Yayoi doesn't say anything, just kind of bows, and then we head back into the room and really start to hammer things out back with Hikari and Kunigisa. As I said before, Hikari then confirms a lot of the things that Teriko said before Yayoi storms back into the room and has somewhat of a mental breakdown at the entire thing. She accuses Ilya of eating brains or something, which is out there. I'm not going to say it isn't what has happened, but it seems like maybe she's taken a logical step too far, maybe. Either way, the main piece of information that she gives is that Ray's alibi is bad on the first night, and I didn't want to say anything, but then she unravels from there. But Yayoi may have inadvertently said something that gives the main character some crucial information that proves who did it through a process of elimination, as well as a couple of other things. Mate, I got no clue. Mate, I got no clue. So we're going to reread that. Apparently something to do with above the shoulders, everything above the shoulders. I don't get it. I don't get it. Just a couple of extra addings to the overall themes category, I guess. Ilya is eating brains links into my idea of beheading as a concept, the losing for one brain, what makes them, right? Like, if you're losing your brain and it is your number one thing in your creative process or your academic process, it is literally everything that accompanies you as a character, and Ilya is eating it, then that's fucking pretty crazy, right? On a metaphorical level as well as like a physical one. What else did I write here? Yeah, the philosophy extracts of when it would be okay to murder. Yeah, this gets expanded upon with Ilya stuff and her past and her views on things and when it's okay to murder. Is she potentially commanding the maids to murder at certain times? Maybe. Maybe that would be a direction for sure, but I think it'd be a pretty obvious one too. And then more of the actual mystery prediction stuff. Like, is straight up accused of murders by Yayoi's testimony, that is Handa Rei. So Handa Rei is the murderer as it stands right now, kind of with Ilya pulling the strings, if we believe everything that we've heard is true. And then we go to Ilya, right? And we've kind of, there's first big sus, then bigger sus, then humongous sus, and then intercontinental sus for potentially killing her sister, as confirmed by two people. So it's probably true. But also apparently she didn't have the markings on her arm that Teriko mentioned when she was undressing. Like, what is the deal here? Was Teriko lying? Was there something else at play? Had somebody else potentially replaced Ilya in this scene? I don't know. Initially, I thought that Teriko in that scene before had replaced somebody. There was something with the eyes or something. I don't know. It wasn't explained very well if it was. So Yayoi has poked a hole in Rei's alibi for the first case. She did clearly know something, as those few shots indicated. And yeah, essentially she knows this is true. She knows that the Rei part of it isn't true. That part of Ilya's alibi for all of them together before the quake, and she thought that only before the quake mattered, but after the quake it still matters, right? Because we've solved that whole locked room mystery part of it, right? And yeah, this is where I think Yayoi, this is true for sure, but I think she's maybe taken some logical steps further than that and gone a little bit hysterical. Or maybe we're going into a brain-eating plot. I don't know. Did I write anything else? Yeah, the painting, like I thought that maybe the main character was keeping that a secret, the watch thing, but no, apparently we just tell, not Ilya. I keep calling Kunigisa Ilya. I'm really bad at that. Kunigisa. I thought that maybe he was just like not telling the truth very well, keeping things from Kunigisa for some nefarious means, but no, he just didn't mention it to her till now. And also, yeah, I'm starting to get cold feet on the whole main character did it theory. I'm thinking it's leaning more towards an Ilya plot, and then we're going to meet this Aikawa at some point, and it's going to be a meeting of the minds. But then how does the first scene of the show, the one where they're kind of floating above it all in that water cube, how does that link into any of it? I don't know. Weird one. And then, yeah, just adding on to the stairs thing, Hikari helps Kunigisa up the stairs this episode, and we're kind of keeping that consistent, at least for now. And yeah, I guess I'll dive into the episode now. I'm very confused, but we're going to try to alleviate the confusion by watching it again. So we start with a 3D render of the Akane locked room, which then sprouts out into the Kanami locked room right here, and then into the phone. which is interesting. And then, don't you have anything better to do is our message for the start of the chapter and the start of this episode. I don't really get this part about all boys have knives in their heart and then girls have guns, and then they do like a weird pose. Yeah, like here. Like, what is all this? But yeah, I got that wrong. I thought he gave Hikari the knife, but he gives Tomo the knife. So, Tomo, defend yourself from Hikari if she is indeed the killer. Weird. And yeah, that stare thing is seemingly staying consistent. I thought it was that um, somebody else had to drag her up the stairs, though. Weird. Because seemingly, like, why does she need to hold somebody's hands to pull them up the stairs? And then we dive into episode. What episode are we on again? Episode 6, day 5, 2. Lies. Lies. Lies is our theme. Who is lying? Who is telling the truth? It's all very up in the air. Maybe they're trying to be a little bit smart, and we think that the lies portion of it is just the Terako stuff, but potentially maybe the main character's lying about some things, maybe Yayoi's lying about some things. We don't know, right? So we walk in on Team B, and they're all just having tea, as you do. Gets sight of Akari and is reminded of what happened that morning with the whole kind of "it's happening again" little speech that seemed to imply more than it should have. The main character brings up the idea of calling the police, as we learn from information confirmed by two of the maids. It's because she doesn't want the police involved because she's potentially murdered in the past and doesn't want it to be uncovered. If we believe Yayoi's testimony as well, maybe she doesn't want the police called because she's the one orchestrating all the murders and doesn't want to involve some people that could potentially implicate her in that kind of thing. She wants Aikawa, somebody that she trusts, to maybe make a final verdict using a system of justice entirely predicated on herself. Weird one. Ray goes straight for the tea once the police are mentioned as well, maybe trying to distract, maybe trying to get him more homey in the whole situation, right? Ilya kind of threatens with, well, if you get the police involved now, maybe you'd be in hot water considering you're the one that put Akane where she was supposedly supposed to be safe, right? Well, maybe you'll get blamed for that. It's like, well, I don't really care. I was born in hot water and never really left, which is kind of cheesy line, but sure, he pulls it off. He's kind of that way inclined. He's prone to a bit of purple prose, as we saw in the previous episode. It's just a creepy, sinister vibe to all of it. All the maids are shooting looks back and forth, like, oh, is he onto it? Is he not? Honda Ray is putting on the most brave face like ever, like she's just being very, very by the book maid. Ilya's like, does this mess bother me? Oh yes, it's quite awful. It's terrible. Well, again, if you're the mastermind here behind all this, of course you would say this in kind of a condescending tone, right? She's obviously not scared if she's the one pulling the strings. And then we get into our ethical discussions again about whether murder's okay and when it's okay and all that side of it, right? I think I've said my piece on it at least. And we kind of dive into the main character's feelings on it. And I think it's a little bit more of a killing, like, it's an ethical view of killing always being wrong, no matter what. It's just fundamentally not a human quality. And then once we learn what we learned about Ilya, a lot of these lines become interesting. Why is it wrong to kill? Why are you... If you're saying this stuff about somebody who has killed, potentially you're saying this about her without knowing it. Like, rejecting the idea of murder is even a choice, right? As soon as you've considered that idea of murder, you're a human failure. So there shouldn't have to be a reason why killing's bad. It is an absolute. And we get a lot of quick flashes to all the maids who know what Ilya's thinking, at least, right? Ilya kind of deflects and says, well, as soon as Aikawa shows up, we'll figure out who the killer is, because Aikawa is brilliant. Aikawa is arriving in 3 days, faster than expected. We'll probably see him at some point in the show now, you would think. The main character then kind of gives up here. Ilya tries to turn sus on him again, right? Well, you didn't have alibis for either of the killings, right? And then he goes, well, we're speaking a different language, let me get out of here. And that's when Terako is chosen to accompany him back to his room. But Ray is the one that suggests this. So then we're alone with Terako walking through this like giant art hall, which is certainly a choice. It's kind of garish, if I'm honest. But it definitely works as somewhat of a metaphorical look at the next conversation we're taking, right? It's a lot about humanity and that kind of thing. If, again, pretty on the nose stuff, but, human form everywhere in art in the background, kind of almost agonizing poses too. and then we're going to have this discussion about, you know, killings and the idea of humanity and if something can be considered even an ethical choice and all these other questions, right? This is weird. Like, Terika kind of speaks to herself here, but then goes like psycho mode. Yeah, you should try dying once, and that's kind of the ending statement of the conversation as well. Yeah, and then she goes full psycho, pushes him into like a containment chamber, and then they go and have a private conversation. Rightio, we learn her glasses are fake. It makes it easier to tell me apart. But apparently she's lying. I just don't want to see your face. So she's taking off the glasses to make sure that she doesn't see him. See, this is what I mean. Like, it's so fast with the lies and everything. So I'm like trying to pick up information, but also look at everything visually on screen, and I'm just struggling a little bit. Yeah, lying characters definitely just throw me for a loop. She says a pretty mean thing, which is you're better off living alone. Nobody is better for your presence, which is kind of tough. People who only cause problems for others should stop being human. If not that, then they should spend the rest of their lives in isolation. Get it? Why do you say that? Because that's what I did. Huh. Like this was a choice for you. And that you don't consider yourself human and you consider yourself like nobody's better for me being around. It's built off an immense self-loathing, kind of like the main character. But then apparently these two are nothing alike, as they say further in the conversation. Weird one, gotta follow it. But you live here with other people. Yeah, we stopped being human. Does that link into the killing conversation we had before with Ilya? And now we just get into like blatant lies too. Like, I'm sorry what Akari did to you this morning. Oh, it's okay. How'd you know about it? It was actually me. It wasn't me, but it was my body. We're actually triplets and we share a consciousness weirdly. And we're using this, like, they're just constantly flipping back and forth in this darkened hallway. It's all very private. It's all very behind the scenes. We're pulling back the veil, so to say, as well. And yeah, she's just blatantly lying about what she was saying about sharing a consciousness and her actually witnessing the confrontation with Akari. So let's get to the meat of the conversation. Don't mention the police in front of Ilya. Alright, cool. And now they're sharing a side of the hallway too. Maybe on a similar level, maybe she's actually lying. They're not in conflict. They are aligned, kind of. And Teriko says that, hey, no criminal likes to involve the police. Why do you think that Ilya lives on this island alone? Potentially she's done something in the past unsavory. Equating what is wrong with Ilya to Kunigisa, right? Kunigisa is unable to make vertical movements. That's where the main character has accompanied her to help her upstairs and that kind of thing, right? Like, Ilya is somewhat the opposite. And have you ever seen her left arm? I don't see how any of this connects. What is the opposite of unable to make vertical movement? That she needs somebody with her? Or doesn't need anybody with her? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is something else. Are they just talking about her slitting her wrists? Is it self-harm? And now we're bringing in this Miss Odette, who was apparently Ilya's twin sister that she murdered. Is this linking into the self-harm thing we were just talking about as well? I don't understand the correlation between any of these things. I understand that she killed her sister and doesn't want to involve the police, but that's the most concrete detail coming out of the conversation, right? That's what we should know going ahead. It's not the subtext of what we're talking about. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. And then, yeah, the main character inadvertently said all that stuff about murderers, and then, of course, Ilya's feeling worse for wear because of it. You said all those things, that there's nothing worse than what she did. That's your opinion on it. You've made that known now. And kind of alerts the main character to not make any more waves in this space. Now you know why she doesn't want to contact the police. Please don't mention it again. They mentioned don't make any waves as well. We've seen a number of patterns on people's eyes where it kind of like a rock dropping in water, that is very very obviously making waves, right? Is that something we can link back to certain pieces of dialogue that would make waves? Supposing there was a child raised for 10 years without any form of human interaction, not even with their parents, raised locked away in a basement, can you imagine what kind of person they would become? We are very different people, don't think for a second we're at all alike. So is he relating, was she relating, who is the person in the basement that they're talking about? Like, somebody's trying to, like, they're trying to relate two things. Is it the main character in the basement, and that's what he's talking about, and then that relating that to being indebted in servitude for however long as well? Kind of, this is all I know. Don't ever say we're alike. You may not know why Jimena goes after you like that, but it's because she actually knows who you actually are and what you are like inside. Jimena can read your mind, and everyone hates unclean things. I said you are filth, you don't need to say it, I already know, and yet you go on living. So despite the main character's own nature, he still persists with life, and that's good. That's like applause. You've got some nerve of doing that. That's an immense amount of self-hatred, man. That's crazy. If you ever show anybody who you truly are inside, do you think anyone would ever choose you? Do you actually believe that? Linking back to that conversation with Akane and Kunagisa and that whole side of it, right? Does Kunagisa know how fucked up I actually am in my head, right? And that's why you should try dying, because, you know, you are what you are. And then he says Zaragoto, and I'm like, yeah, that certainly was nonsense, but it is nonsense that makes more sense to me upon a rewatch, right? I understand what Teriko's aim in the scene was now, and she was kind of secondhand, like he tried to make a relation between himself and herself, and then she's like, no, fuck you, you're scum, essentially. Um, like everybody knows that he is, but nobody's telling him that. I mean, at least him and Amaki knows that, right? And that's why she pokes so much fun. I don't know. I'm sure all will come to fruition eventually, and we'll get full answers to a lot of this stuff. Or maybe it's just going to be left a little bit nebulous. I'm just going to have to wait for next week and see, I think. So don't think about that side of the emotional attack. Now we're going to focus on the information and try to solve the actual mystery. This is when I'm changing my tact. I'm like, okay, he probably didn't do it if he's trying this hard to now solve the mystery. Um, like clearly we're heading in a direction which is more of a Ilya bad direction, I think. And then yeah, he thinks back to himself about the abusive behavior syndrome, and then thinks back to seeing her wrist there, as well as the rest of her body, and yeah, what gives, essentially. Point is, Teriko is a huge liar, just like I am. We raise back up out of the staircase there, and we meet with Team C. I've called them with numbers; they're delineating them with letters. But either way, this is the kind of the rest, the one team we haven't really talked to yet. Him and Amaki takes this opportunity to laugh in the main character's face, which is funny. Still calling him Shonen, which is also very good. She is very punchable, but because she can read minds, she now reads his mind, and clearly what Teriko said is still in his mind, like laughing at his misfortune, essentially. Shinya's way more based in fact in all of this. You shouldn't be alone at a time like this. I thought this was the whole point of the plan. Shinya briefly says that he shouldn't feel bad about the Sonoyama Akane killing, and he shouldn't blame himself for it. And we're left with Yayoi, who just gives us nothing, little bow, and leaves before coming back later in the episode in a kind of panicked state. This whole time, when left to their own devices, I think Hikari has been cleaning, and Kunagisa has been trying to salvage computer parts. Tomo's going to search through the stuff here on the ground to see if she can salvage any computer parts. Finding a hard drive would be nice, getting all those photos of the case and that side of it back. That would be good. And yeah, now we ask Hikari for a notepad. We're going to try to organize our thoughts into a big old yeah, the classic like string going to different things in an investigation movie. You know that kind of vibe. This is where the main character straight up just brings up the watch point, which I thought was him trying to hide the watch point from Kunagisa. Clearly, this isn't the case. Clearly, I'm probably wrong about him being the killer. It's nice that I was right about the picture, though, and why the picture was important. That's good. Means I'm somewhat paying attention. Kunagisa thinks that this isn't that big of a deal, but we know the thing about how Kanami draws. Like, there must be some extra thing here. Why else would it be in the show? And we eat cake and we solve murders, essentially, right? That's how the rest of this happens. I'll wait till we get the big, like, everything picture of everything he's written down. Yeah, here we go. This is probably the best one, right? Okay, so this is the only the first murder, and we've separated it into pre-quake and post-quake. I guess we get a triangle when we only have one person vouching for a alibi, and we get a circle when we have more than one. I guess. Why are triangles here? So he does this for both cases, but somehow forgets the third most important case, and that is the death of the computer. Oh no. And of course, as Kunagisa's character would allow her to do, she thinks that this is the most important element, and that she would rather be beheaded than her computer destroyed. Like, she's like the ultimate engineer, or genius level engineer. I forget our nomenclature there, but yeah, it's just, look at her. She's just absolutely tantruming out. Cool. So all three cases we have up here are locked rooms, and that is our connection we move on to with later. So one is a locked room based on one dimension this way, and then the next one is a locked room based on height this way, and then the third one is a locked room based on the fourth dimension, time. Oh no. And yeah, we've written down below here that the motive for the destruction is believed to be the photos of Ibuki's crime scene. So, and then we also go through that same structure again, right? First case, anyone could have done it, right? Well, we say that, but some certain people probably didn't do it, but I digress there. 2. Hikari is apparently the only one that could have committed it unless we solve the height element of the locked room and how they got out. And 3, nobody could have done it. Based on our timing, situation, and what we know now, it is impossible. Akane seemed resigned to her fate as soon as she went into the room. Maybe she did know who the killer was the whole time, but she also swore to the main character that she didn't. This is where we start to tell Hikari about what Teriko said, and then we're also linking it in with what Akari did the morning. So when she says it's happening again, maybe she's referring to a murder, like how Ilya killed her sister Odette. Hikari seems to confirm all of this, that the maids are, in some way, telling the main character that Ilya is responsible for her sister's murder. So legally speaking, Ilya is a criminal, but we still serve her regardless of that. This is why she won't call the police. This is why she's relying on Aikawa. This is why maybe she's pulling the strings with killing certain characters when she does. And now we're also linking this in with Kunagisa's line about investigating a case that happened at the island before. Has there been murders in the past? Is this linking into the murder that we now know was committed by Ilya? And apparently, in certain circles, this is common knowledge that this previous case we're speaking of is Ilya's murder of her own sister. And she's kind of being protected by her status in her family and how rich and powerful they are. If the killer somehow knew this information, that the police wouldn't be called no matter what, could they potentially get away with anything? Or is it as simple as the killer is just part of the whole Yayoi theory of eating brain, kill people, genius level, blah, 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 blah? We hear a knock at the door, and Yayoi arrives, and then I have told a lie that I may never be able to take back. It was the lie about Honda Ray's alibi for the first case. So Ilya took control of the situation for Yayoi's alibi before she even had a chance to speak, and then she just let it pass. Like, she didn't stand up and speak or any of that side of it. She just let Ilya control the situation. And Yayoi feels guilty here now that a second murder has occurred. She feels that she was the one that locked Akane up and made her the prime suspect. She somewhat feels responsible for the murder. And then in that same way again, Ilya said Honda had an alibi. Maybe they're working together, and then that's where we extrapolate this whole crazy theory out of. I'll also note that the ambience of the room has changed. It's all very red. It's kind of mirroring the panicked state of Yayoi here. What if Ilya is the one pulling the strings, and then we get into our whole brain eating side of it? She says, if you want a better liver, you eat liver. If you want a better heart, you eat hearts. Like full on almost paganistic, right? Yeah, what if she's trying to lure the smart people here, eat their brains, gain their knowledge? Why else would she bring the master chef like me? Why would she bring me in? I'm not that special. I'm not as special as all these other people. Maybe I'm here to cook the brains. I think that she's gone off the deep end a little bit here. I don't think that this is it. If it is it, then that's an insane twist, but it's pretty damn dramatic, right? That character over there eats brains. Like, you'd think that you would drop that one a little bit early in the show, so to kind of come out of nowhere. She really turns on the crazy here, which is good. She also theorizes that Kunigisa is next, which may actually come to fruition now that I'm thinking about it. Hikari denies this with very interesting lines, actually. Miss Ilya would never do something so awful, so horrible, not anymore. Relating to the murder, maybe. I thought it implied that maybe she ate brains in the past, but not anymore. Like, what? And then this is the line, right? God only knows how long before everything above Kunagisa's shoulders is gone. And then lighting change, right? Wait, what you've just said back there was very, very important. And Yayoi doesn't realize what she said at all, so And I'm in her shoes. I don't understand why this is important either. Yeah, and then like the we found out music is playing, like that kind of main theme moments of the show. Like clearly this is an important moment. It's just completely lost on me. Apparently he now has a theory and a solution. Now all he needs is proof to make his case. And that third case may not be the key, but it is also a crucial clue, kind of like what he was talking about before. It is a path, or whatever his line was in episode 5. He does like some crazy dance here, like again, he's clearly figured out something. I'm like a broken record. Got nothing. Apparently, there's only one thing that now makes sense, and when only one possibility remains, no matter how improbable it may seem, it has to be the truth. Are you sure about that? I thought that was like kind of that process of elimination stuff that we didn't like out of the Akane case. But go off, I guess. Clearly, you're feeling some kind of way about it. Kunagisa says it's time to fight back, and then the ED plays. Fight back? Fight back against the whole Ilya thing? I don't know. I really don't. So yeah, that's set us up nicely for the finale. Hopefully, those 2 episodes will shine some lights on some stuff. You'd think they would. So we learned that Ilya's big sus this episode. I've moved kind of away from my main character did it theory a little bit more, and yeah, the maids seemingly know a lot of stuff that they're keeping secrets and that kind of thing. What's Teriko lying about? What's the thing with the wrist on the Ilya? What's the thing with the eating the brains with the Yayoi? What's the thing with the head chopped off there? What's the thing with the computer apparently blowing up? And that's a big clue. I don't know. I really don't. But we're going to find out, and it's all going to start to make sense and hopefully click into place, and I'll feel satisfied about the whole thing. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to close it off there and looking forward to next week where hopefully there's some amount of clarity. If I'm straight up like missing stuff and it's important, maybe let me know. If not, then know that it's only 1 week away where all will be revealed and I'll be able to actually go, oh, that's why that makes sense, and you can start to point things out that way. But yeah, good episode overall. Kind of flew by again. It's a good sign that I'm into the mystery and want to solve it, which is good. I guess show stuff. I don't have much more to say. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord. Love Discord. Discord. And yeah, see you guys next week for the finale of the Kubikiri cycle. Looking forward to potentially shedding some light on some things. But rightio, I'll catch you guys next time anyway.